Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2790, For the Realm of No Form 2, No. Karen stared in horror as the two orbs of soul fire swayed violently under the wind pressure. He had no time to dodge, because this was his full-power attack. Puffed! The enormous beam of light pierced through his massive chest in an instant, bringing with it a spray of golden, divine blood. The immense kinetic energy propelled his body backward tens of thousands of meters, slamming him hard against the void barrier. Boom! With a loud bang, Karen was nailed to the wall, like a giant specimen. I'm really sorry, but everything you see, hear, and feel in this area is false. Here, everything, time, space, distance, is defined by me. Zhang Yi said indifferently, as if stating a truth. Immediately afterwards, he flashed away. Ignoring the sea of blood that filled the sky, he appeared directly in front of Karen, who was nailed to the wall. This moment in the scene is extremely exciting. Karina's mountain-like body struggled, his forearms trying to pull out the arrow from his chest, spewing out golden blood. His god-slaying technique was indeed very strong, and his power made Zhang Yi feel a huge threat. Therefore, Zhang Yi was very grateful to him for sending such a good weapon. After all, Zhang Yi didn't have the technology to manufacture magical weapons. He wanted to get a weapon similar to the divine refinement weapon that could grow, especially a ranged weapon which perfectly met his needs. At this moment, Zhang Yi hovered in front of the giant Kalen's forehead, his size as small as dust, yet he exuded an aura of dominance. Zhang Yi held the demon blade, divine refinement, high in his hand. Black void lightning crackled around the blade, a light that devoured everything. He didn't use any fancy moves, just a simple downward chop. The movements were so slow that it was as if one could clearly see the blade cutting through every ripple of the air, so slow that it gave one a breathtaking sense of elegance. But that power was absolutely terrifying. That was the power of the void dark realm, impossible to avoid, because no matter where Karen fled, he would be dragged into the path of this blade slash. Therefore, there is no escape. Whoosh! A flash of black light, like a tidal wave. Karen's eyes were bloodshot as he roared and raised his arm, trying to use his strong physique to block the blow. However, Karen's two thick arms, as if sliced through butter with a hot knife, detached smoothly from her torso. Time seemed to stand still for a moment. The broken area was as smooth as a mirror, and even the muscle texture was clearly visible. 2 seconds passed. Puff! Golden divine blood gushed out, forming a golden rainstorm that soaked Zhang Yi's god-destroying battle armor, making him look even more ferocious. Ewa! Karen's screams echoed throughout the world. They were the wails of someone who had lost all power and dignity. With only his 2 arms remaining, he finally pulled the arrow from his chest and fled in a sorry state. Splash! Then came the sound of ocean waves, and a blood-red wave that blotted out the sky, as if it were going to destroy the entire space, rose several meters high, and crashed down on Zhang Yi. It's not over yet. Zhang Yi didn't even glance at Karen before abruptly turning to face the sweeping river of blood. It is a collective of 960 trillion independent blood droplets, each of which is the essence of evil and cannot be destroyed by physical means. As long as a single drop escapes, she can start over. You want to drown me? A mocking smile curled at the corner of Zhang Yi's lips, and the demon blade in his hand emitted a thirsty hum. He thrust the demon blade in his hand into the void beneath his feet, gripping the hilt tightly with both hands, and frantically channeled his inner energy into it. Divine refinement, devouring heaven and earth. Boom! The demonic blade exploded instantly, splitting into countless eerie, jet-black vines covered in barbs and suckers. These vines grew wildly, instantly covering half of the void, like a greedy giant net, or a group of tentacles from hell, plunging headlong into that river of blood. Glug, glug. The chilling sucking sound echoed throughout the entire space. The black vines were like countless thirsty venomous snakes, frantically draining the energy from the blood river. The once vibrant red river water visibly dimmed and dried up. Zhang Yi is indeed not good at dealing with this kind of guy, but as a master of the great tree divine refinement, he is very good at consolidating the soil and water. Moreover, the divine refinement is resistant to erosion. Even if it is corrupted by the blood sea, as long as Zhang Yi continuously injects energy into it, it can be regenerated indefinitely.
No.
What is this? My power. My origin. From the river of blood came Avel's terrified screams. Countless distorted faces appeared on the river surface, emitting painful howls. She discovered that her own blood was drying up at an alarming rate, and the vines were not only sucking her blood, but also plundering her life mark. She is losing her life. She is heading towards true death. She wanted to escape, but this space had been completely sealed off by Zhang Yi. The surrounding spatial barriers were as hard as iron, and she was like water trapped in a bottle with nowhere to escape. At the same time, the spider demon Guzan's 100-eyed demon light finally struck. Those pale white rays of light, carrying the rules of control, enveloped Zhang Yi and his mechanical legion. It's done. Guzan was overjoyed. As long as he could hold on for even a second, there was hope of turning the tide. However, the next second, his smile froze. Just as the rays of light were about to touch their target, Zhang Yi simply snapped his fingers without turning his head. Smack. Spatial refraction. All the light rays suddenly undergo an extremely strange deflection 1 micrometer before touching the surface of the object. They grazed Zhang Yi's clothes and the warship's shield, shooting into the empty void, or refracting against each other, and some even reflected back, hitting Guzan's leg. Light, too, must travel in a straight line. Zhang Yi turned his head and looked at Guzan, his eyes filled with the pity of a higher-dimensional being looking down on a lower-dimensional being. But in my space, a straight line does not exist. In Zhang Yi's eyes, were these guys stupid? No, perhaps they have already realized it, but they don't want to face death, so they are unwilling to admit it. Therefore, even though they subconsciously understood that Zhang Yi could use the boundless realm to transfer everything within this domain, they still fought back desperately. Within the realm of true formlessness, Zhang Yi can transform positions, and this transformation is not limited to objects. It is everything. This naturally includes attacks that exist in the form of energy bodies. Guzan was in despair. His rules were restrained by Zhang Yi's space, his body was bombarded by the mechanical legion, and one of his allies was nailed to the wall and shaved into a stick, while another was being sucked into a dried corpse. Chapter 2795, A Great Harvest 1. This was a complete and utter massacre. The battle lasted for a full 10 minutes. This was a one-sided humiliation. Zhang Yi, using the absolute control of the formless realm, manipulated the 3 black knights at will. Finally, when Karen no longer had the strength to scream, and the river of blood in Aver was reduced to a murky stream, and all of Guzan's hundreds of eyes exploded once again. Zhang Yi slowly sheathed the demonic blade, and also recalled all the mechanical troops. The entire space fell silent. Only 3 ancient warriors, barely alive, their bodies mangled, their eyes filled with despair and fear, remained, floating in the void. It's about time. Zhang Yi glanced at the watch that wasn't there, his tone as relaxed as if he had just finished a warm-up exercise. He straightened the slightly wrinkled corners of his clothes, looked at the 3 of them, and for the first time, a kind of indifference called divinity appeared in his clear black and white eyes. You are honored. I will use this move as my first sacrifice. Zhang Yi slowly raised his hands, as if he were holding up the weight of the entire universe. The surrounding space began to emit a low rumble, as if something terrifying was about to awaken. Did you know? This universe has 2 opposing sides. The universe is the material world in which we live. And on the other side of this world, there exists a realm called the Netherworld, this universe. There, all matter is destined, and energy is in its ultimate form. Zhang Yi's voice became ethereal and grand, as if it came from another dimension, echoing and resonating in the ears of the three. For every substance that exists in the universe, there must be an object with the same mass but completely opposite energy properties. When the two come into contact, Zhang Yi clasped his hands together abruptly, and a burst of extreme black light erupted from his palms. They will annihilate each other, return to nothingness, and release creation-level energy. With my current abilities, the outside world wouldn't dare to use this move casually, because I can't control the degree of it well. It's easy to blow myself up, or even blow a hole in the planet. But now, Zhang Yi looked around and revealed a devilish smile. In this closed domain that I have complete control over, in this coffin that has been isolated. That's a different story. Enjoy this ultimate embrace from the depths of the universe. Forbidden divine skill. Dirac C. Buzz. There was no earth-shattering explosion. There was no dazzling light either. On the contrary, beneath Zhang Yi's feet, an endless, indescribable ocean silently emerged. It's not water, it's not energy, it's not even black. That's all, nothing. That pure ocean of antimatter, that abyss of nothingness that devours everything. It looks like a huge black curtain, slowly being pulled up to cover everything in this world. It's like a giant, invisible mouth, slowly spreading towards the horizon. Anything it touches, whether it's fragments of space, remnants of energy, or floating dust, vanishes instantly without a trace, leaving not even a speck of ash. Even light cannot escape once it enters it. That is truly erasing at the physical level. What is this? No. Don't come any closer. Karen watched the silent, approaching sea of nothingness, feeling the nothingness that could freeze even the soul, and let out the most terrified wail of her life. My body, my strength. He watched helplessly as the black seawater rose above his ankles. There was no pain, only disappearance. His indestructible Titan body, which couldn't even be destroyed by nuclear bombs, vanished without a trace the moment it touched the seawater, just like a pencil drawing on a canvas being erased by an eraser. Help! I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Avel desperately tried to escape, turning the remaining blood river into steam in an attempt to rise into the air, but the ocean seemed to have an infinite suction force, pulling her down little by little. I'm not dead, I'm not dead. Her scream abruptly stopped. Antimatter annihilates irrationally. It cannot regenerate because even elementary particles cease to exist. Chaos. You devil. You world-destroying devil. In the last moment before Guzan was swallowed up, hundreds of eyes shed tears of blood and uttered a curse of despair. But Zhang Yi just hovered quietly in midair, coldly watching all of this, like a god watching the ebb and flow of the tide. Devil. No. I'm just someone who wants to live. Zhang Yi retorted sarcastically without any politeness. You are the ones who first tried to kill me, so you deserve to die. A few seconds later, all the wailing and howling ceased. The terrifying Dirac Sea slowly receded, returning to nothingness. The once bustling battlefield is now reduced to a pure, unadulterated vacuum. Not even a speck of dust remained. In that void, 3 orbs of energy, radiating brilliant light, floated. After Karen, Guzan, and Avel were completely erased from their bodies and consciousness, what remained was the purest essence of the Black Knights, the Black Knight origin. Add the previous serving of noon, making a total of 4 servings. These 4 orbs of light are of immeasurable value. Many ancient tribes, even with the combined strength of their entire clan, could not condense an origin of this level. However, they have now fallen into Zhang Yi's hands. This is how zero-sum games work. If they want to obtain the primordial power belonging to Zhang Yi at this superuniverse level, then they must be prepared to lose everything and have everything belong to Zhang Yi. What a bumper harvest! Zhang Yi reached out and beckoned, and the 3 orbs of primordial energy obediently flew into his palm. Without any hesitation, he pressed the 3 balls of energy directly onto his forehead. Like a whale swallowing the ocean, it directly absorbed these 3 portions of primal power, enough to create 3 top-tier experts, into its body. Boom! Having devoured the essence of 3 Black Knights at once, Zhang Yi himself became the ethereal pond, causing a violent storm. They need to merge with each other and, finally, be completely transformed into Zhang Yi's own power. This will take a relatively long time to process. However, Zhang Yi's life level has already begun another crazy leap within this closed domain. Zhang Yi could sense that once he absorbed all the essence within his body, he would be able to reach the threshold of the queen level.
Alright, that's it for today's chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises.